I just, I'm sorry.
I know, thank you.
Miss you, how are you? Thank you for
We're
those
very grateful
questions.
for everything we have. Thank you for your feedback.
You're welcome. That's what I look to do, I just get back on to the website.
I got my prayer.
I know you need to sleep, but how much time does he love it? So.
Oh, okay. You know what? Not with me. No, I'm serious. I wrote it up and I looked at it. You know what I'll call it? It's like dizziness, so like if I look down, no, I'm gonna fall.
Hi Louise, how are you?
Good evening.
Yes, it is. And also, it's a short presentation, but Dr. Fish will give a little presentation. Where do you
Oh my God, he's like shooting up like a giant. I like that.
Bigger grocery. Are they there?
Oh, wow. Definitely. Yep. And all the time.
On the website. Where
Got
can
nothing?
Bell respond to questions?
Yeah, should be, you go to the partner business office. And on the side, there should be 21, 22 budget information. And then
I'm gonna show you where it's.
I'm sure you have to.
Yeah, it's not, you'll have to go to budget 21, 22. That's where I'll show you where to go. But we actually updated the timeline there too, okay? You're not gonna eat what I made. Like, I didn't know I was gonna.
Yes, but I think we discussed something today.
Yes.
We're still rolling out.
We're gonna help you with that.
Is April 16th or
Joe, can you
17th?
hear us? Joe, you're right.
So we
I got it. You good? Yeah, can you hear me? All right, good. Great.
She's doing her master's.
Oh, okay.
So she's still in grad school.
Okay. That's exciting.
Hi, good, how are you?
How's that sound, Joe? Still yours?
Can you hear us, Joe?
I got it, we're good, John.
Okay, we'll start in 1 second.
Okay.
Well, also, drivers should also stop.
All right, whenever you're ready, we're all set.
Okay. Please rise.
Put your hand over your heart. To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Please remain standing. Heavenly Father, we invoke thy blessing on all in attendance, here and on those we serve. Help us to bring wisdom and humanity to our deliberations and thy spirit to our work. Please be seated.
Welcome, everybody, to the Clark Way Shinny Free School District Board of Education meeting for April 8th. Appreciate people in attendance. First item on the agenda is Board of Education comments. As you can see, our trustee Lucerto is sitting in tonight with us, and he's not able to be with us, so he's been COVID live stream, so, you know, so people can, you know, I guess the district clerk, if they have questions, will they come to you? Okay, so, very good, thank you. Okay, so it's being live streamed.
Audio recording will be made available.
Thank you, Dr. Finn. The audio recording will be made available to, on our website, so people can, go back and reference it if they wish. Tonight, we're gonna be, adopting our budget. A lot of hard work went into this budget, but this is only one step of the process. Tonight, we're gonna adopt the budget, but, you know, the next few weeks, we're gonna be having different meetings with different community groups and within our school, as far as with our government classes and everything, to go over the budget as far as presenting, because this is just one step in the process. On May 18th, we'll have the budget vote. April 20th, we have a board meeting. It's Tuesday, it's overall cycle because of a BOCES vote that we take that night. And then we have a meet the candidates, which takes place on May 6th. So May 6th, so the next three meetings we have is April 20th, May 6th, and May 18th is the budget vote. And as I said, there's going to be different meetings with different groups that Dr. Finn will talk more about at some point in time, as far as what meetings are in place with different groups, community groups regarding the budget. But I want to thank, first of all, my fellow board trustees for their hard work on this budget. I want to thank the central administration staff for their hard work on this budget. I really want to thank the business office. We have one person in our audience, Joanna DiMartino, our treasurer, who's done an excellent job with this budget. She did an awful lot of work with this budget. Herself, Mr. Mark Lees, and others did a lot of work with this budget. But I want to really point out the good work of Mrs. DiMartino on this budget. So thank you very much for all your hard work on this. I also want to thank the building principals for their hard work on this budget. Each year it gets more and more difficult. Former President Barry Dennis, who unfortunately passed away, would always say each year gets harder and harder, and he's so right. We thought we had it hard then, we really have it hard now as far as trying to come up with a budget during these times and everything. I want to thank the building principals for their hard work. You know, Mrs. Apollo's here and Mrs. Saletti, but I also want to make sure that Mrs. Folks knows how much we appreciate her work also. And also the chair people in the different departments for their hard work on the budget. Last thing I'll say about the budget is, and I'll say it again in the next few meetings, is make sure, get informed about the budget, come out and vote. We are a democratic society, and one of the best things we have is the ability to vote. And I think, especially with young people, I always told my kids when they turn 18, please, take every opportunity you have to vote, because it's a great right to have, and you shouldn't waste it and everything. So, and I just hope everybody takes a chance to vote, gets informed about the budget. Just a couple of things I want to mention. I want to thank John Hendrick and his crew for the fine work they did during the break. I know one of the items that they did was they replaced about 125 different lights throughout the schools and everything, so thank you for their work. And I know there's other things that they did during the break and everything regarding the buildings and everything. And two last things I want to mention is congratulations to Leah Iglesias on scoring her 100th goal yesterday. It's quite an achievement. It's quite a milestone. Girls soccer, yes. Girls soccer, thank you. And I believe she's going to go play in Oxford. Is that right? So congratulations to Leah. And the last thing I'm going to mention is we just found out today that we were named 2021 Best Communities for Music Education by the NAM Foundation. NAM stands for National Association of Music Merchants. It's the second year in a row we've gotten this recognition. But before this year, we had never gotten this recognition before. So we got last year, before last year. So we got 2 years in a row. So I want to congratulate Mr. Lamone and all the music teachers for their fine work in educating our music, our children, and in getting this honor as one of the best communities for music education. And as I just mentioned to you, Eloise, next weekend, not this weekend, but the weekend after, Sound of Music, April 16th and 17th. And I know information is coming out about that. So those are all the comments I have. All the board members, Vice President McLaughlin.
Yes, thank you. So I'd like to just echo the fact that I'm very grateful for everyone that's constantly participating, being understanding, being part of the equation with what has been unbelievably challenging here every day. I personally think I see a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Getting to the budget as far as the adoption, to echo President DeFrisco, I would like to just say, without the team, there's no us, and there's no success. So thank you to everybody, the administration, the district superintendent, Dr. Flynn. We all work together and invite ourselves to deliver something good quality product as a service. Again, it's an investment. So we're investing in school. There's a lot of work that goes into that. And that return on that investment is a successful organization. And a big part of that is making sure that we have a budget that is fair, as lean as can be, and within reason. Always, the ultimate goal is staying below the tax rate. And my third year on the board, and we manage to do it every year. I think it's a fantastic effort on everyone's part. And it's just so understated how much work goes into it, and I'm constantly amazed at the hard work, the hours that everybody puts in, the superintendents, the teachers, the assistants, everybody that works is a part of the equation. So again, we're repeating, without all of you, we can't be successful. So for that, I want to thank you. And I also would like to echo, as I was there yesterday, congrats to Leah. I know her personally, she's an incredible athlete. And I tell you, the young lady has a skill set that just marvels me to know it. So congratulations to Leah, and best of luck in the future. That's all I have to say. Trust me.
Thank you very much. First of all, congratulations to Leah.
First of all, congratulations to Leah. It's a remarkable achievement. I don't want to repeat everything that Mr. DeFrisco and Mr. McLaughlin said, but I absolutely agree with them. It's been a tremendously difficult year in many aspects. Putting together the budget was just one, and the business office did a fantastic job. Thank you, Joanna, and thank you to Mike Margulies and everyone else in the business office who stepped up dramatically. It's, as I said, it's been a very busy year, and it's been an odd year. All the administrators and principals, they all received new jobs this year that involved contact tracing, so which I'm sure everyone enjoyed and certainly didn't have time for. But you have all done a great job with the contact tracing and keeping us, keeping the kids, keeping the students in school, which is what is the best place for them to be. So I'll end my comments there, and I will have one more comment when we get to the consent agenda regarding the budget. Trustee Aguilar.
Thank you. I don't think I can say it better than my fellow trustees have said it. I'll just mention a few things about, first, we can't hear you. Sorry. I want to thank everybody that was involved with the budget, which we've already mentioned everybody, and they've done a phenomenal job with that. I would also like to remind everybody to get out there and vote. And of course, congrats to Leah Iglesias. It's an amazing accomplishment, and I definitely would like to see her. I think they have at least 1 or 2 more games, hopefully. Mr. DePaolo? 5? Okay, I'll be at one of them. And I would also like to congratulate the music department on their accomplishment as well. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, trustee Aguilar. Joe, you trustee Lucero?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I would like to just say a few things. Number one, on the budget preparation, the entire administration, starting with Christine and her direct staff, the principals, all of the department heads, again, you've done an excellent job. And, it's much appreciated in a very tough year. We put together a budget that'll, give the students everything they're going to need next year and more. And that's always our objective. As it relates to the business office, you worked above and beyond. And Joanna, thank you very much for all you did. You really shined and put a lot of light on a process that was difficult this year. So thank you very much on that. Congratulations to Leah Iglesias. I know her family. My son played with one of her brothers. She's a tremendous athlete. Her brothers were tremendous athletes. Her parents were tremendous athletes. And she has an aunt who was a tremendous athlete, all of our plays. I'm sure Leah will do great things at Hofstra. And, it's always good to hear about people in our sports programs and our music programs that are doing extraordinary things. And congratulations to Mr. Lamone on the award. As we mentioned, I think when Mr. Lamone, during his presentation at the last board meeting, he's doing an excellent job since he's taking over the department. And this year, especially in extraordinary situations, him and his students are doing an excellent job. So congratulations to them. I'll have more to say around the budget approval, but thank you everybody for coming. Please vote, and please tell your friends to vote as well. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Lucero. Superintendent? Sorry. Superintendent's comments? Dr. Fick?
And I know that I have a soft-spoken voice, so. Stop laughing. Okay. So I too would like to thank everyone who was involved with the budget, particularly the 5 individuals sitting up here with me. We can't do the budget development without our school board of education and our community members as well, the people that come to the board meetings. Eloise, that's you, everyone else that does attend, and of course a special thank you to Joanna DiMartino. We could not have done this without you, and we are extremely appreciative. And my central office team, who was with me every step of the way, my right hand, my left hand, my right foot, my left foot, including Brian Frank, who's brand new and still managed to help us, Eileen Fredericks, and Philip Momar. Thank you very much. And of course our principals, Kathy and Tom DePaolo, Kathy Soletti, and Susan Folks. And they are really the heartbeat of the building. And when we have our crazy harebrained ideas of what we can cut or not cut, they're the first ones who really kind of say, well, this is for the children. Or yes, we could really do without that. And we really could not have done it without the 3 of you. So much appreciation there. Huge congratulations to Leah Iglesias. 100 goals and counting. Tenacity and talent were amazing, and she did it all missing a toenail. So it's incredible. Kudos also to our music educators, and I'll just tell you, not to repeat, but there were only 686 districts and 80 individual schools that were recognized for this ongoing commitment to the community to support music education. Now, because of COVID, a lot of districts just didn't do music. You couldn't sing. You can't sing with a mask. You have to stay 12 feet apart. So we were extremely creative in figuring out ways to let kids experience music and even sing and do a musical. And all of that has been recognized for the 2nd year in a row. So we're very, very proud of that as well. And finally, kudos to our virtual enterprise students. Those are the kids who kind of run a mini mock business. More late breaking news. One of our VE teams, Splash, Alexa Freebody and Ben Nasovich, Splash advanced to the national round of the finance competition. Both of those students had taken accounting last year. We have never made it this far to the nationals before, so that's an amazing accomplishment. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Faye. Comments from the public on agenda items only.
Yeah, sure.
Regarding the budget presentations, I still would like to know what our total amounts are in all of our reserve funds. Some of the documents here seem to indicate the end of last year there was $12 million sitting there available to be used. Now I see that there are, it's not supposed to be more than 4% of the budget, but I don't know if that's per fund or for the entire thing. So once those budget line, those reserves get really high, you're starting to look at a big increase in the amount of the budget. I didn't feel that there was any presentation regarding the teacher salaries, because if there had been, that's a big chunk of the budget. If there had been, I would have once again asked how many teachers we have. And the last time I did that, and I could be wrong, but since there wasn't anything, I'm gonna throw out the number, 7 students per teacher.
It's more than that.
And it's more than that.
Yeah, more kids are in a
More
class.
kids. Well, because we did lose about 25 students. If we haven't reduced
But we've added sections of other classes, so that's what we sometimes do. Do you want me to, I'm sure, did you find the reserve plan online? Were you able to find that? So, I happen to have the reserve plan, and I can share it with you if you like, if you give me an email address. We have different types of reserves. The 4% that you're talking about, that's like our unassigned fund balance. We're not allowed to go above 4% for that, so we try to fill that. We also have various reserves for TRS, ERS, insurance, accrued benefits, unemployment. Those are things that affect the teachers. We have 4 capital project reserves. Those are, we're not making a new reserve this year. We're gonna fund one that we've already had in existence. And then we have our fund balance. Joanna, did I do okay there?
Yep.
All right. So I can show you what's in all of those. Those are very carefully considered as to what we're going to put in, and we don't put in 1 penny more than we're permitted to. So,
You will see a number about $12 million between all those different reserves, but the other side is no more than 4% of that, of what we're allowed to do, which is, I guess, about $2 million. So we are at the limit on that, so we don't go above it. So we set aside the money for things like the capital. This room that we're in, that was done through capital reserve fund. So that's how we use our that's one of the ways we use our reserves.
Well, it said like 27 million spending over. It doesn't, I thought there was a page that said over how many years, but I couldn't find it. But those are big numbers. Besides not having 4 times spent presenting that big component of the budget, the teacher's salaries and
I can speak to that. So take $189,000 out of that number, first of all, because that's for universal pre-K, which we don't do. So we don't get those funds. Joanna, what's the number that's the new number for state aid? $4.9 million, roughly? So what we're going to do, Eloise, when we presented the first presentation, I know you were here, we said in order to balance this budget, we needed to appropriate money from our reserves. That meant we didn't have enough money to balance our budget without digging into our rainy day fund. So what we've done is we reallocated the funds. We're getting aid. We're going to not appropriate $375,000. We're going to take only $50,000. Now, that means that if the economy tanks, despite that article, I think it may, we will have those funds to use for a rainy day in the future. I am happy that we're going to be getting some state aid. I'm happy that we might be getting some federal funds, but they are not here yet. We haven't received it. We have to apply for them, okay? And it's likely that health insurance costs will continue to go up, ERS and TRS will go up, and it is also likely, just as I walk around my local mall, that businesses are going to shutter and the economy might struggle still. I hope it doesn't, but it might, and we need to be prepared for that. And we also need to be prepared for COVID because it's still with us. Even though people are getting vaccinated and even though it looks like we're turning a corner, we haven't yet. We still have to purchase all the PPE, all of the other things that we've done to keep kids safe and our staff safe. So I'm not comfortable flatlining a budget. It's a good, solid budget. It's only $500,000 and change more, and I think it's a responsible thing to do. So.
Yes, question about the economy could indeed take another downturn.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you referring that commercial properties won't pay their bills, or?
Not just that, but what could happen, a lot of this money that we're supposedly going to get, and I hope we get it, is going to be funded through personal income tax. So people who don't have jobs can't pay personal income tax, and a lot of businesses are going remote, so that's a possibility. There's also possibilities of unknown expenses. And in the past, we've lost our foundation aid. The promise hasn't come through. Also, this money may have strings attached. You might have to do certain things in order to get it, which we will. You know, we're not going to ever leave money on the table. We also don't know how sustainable it is. So the recommendation is not to count on it going forward, but if you do get a certain amount of money that you perhaps purchase a one-time expenditure, I'm going to make something up, you know, like a bleachers or a mental health program. That's not a repeating cost, because then if the government pulls that money away, we don't have to worry about trying to backfill it. How'd I do, Joanna? Okay, perfect. All right.
It's considered a one-time hit.
Right, exactly.
It's a one-time hit.
And Newsday's not talking about those nuances. Go ahead, Trustee DeFisco.
Generally speaking, I think that Newsday is particularly uneducated about all of it.
Thank you.
Why didn't you call me at 6:30 this morning when I was reading it? Why? I want to know, because, believe me, I agree with you 1,000%. I apologize, but as soon as I read that, I just went off the nail. They are so uneducated, they just put it out there, and they attack without having to, like, at least been a knowledge of what's involved in the school education system. I apologize for being so animated about it, but I couldn't agree with you more. It was the first thing about the thing that I text from me and vice versa. She says, uh-oh, you know, and I was just like, I was off the chain. I was just like, this is crazy. They just picked on it, and they just, Newsday's got a reputation for three things, and I don't want to get into the political aspect of it. One of them for sure is they're against schools, so they'll find any little nuance, and they'll just load the gun, and they don't know what the hell they're shooting at, but they will hit it. So Newsday is an absolute disgrace. And is Newsday person in here?
No, but we're being taped.
You know what? It is what it is. That's why I'm an elected official. I look at that and I say to myself, they can't be any more off base than they are. So So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
They
They
have
are
their-
uneducated. They don't pay attention. They just look at stuff and they generalize and throw stuff out. Off my soapbox, thank you.
Eloise, the only thing I was gonna mention was that, as far as the number of teachers, it's the same number of teachers from year to year. There's no change in the number of teachers. We've been able to hold the program and the number of teachers and, different things like that intact and everything. So I just wanted to mention that also.
And I'm gonna further mention that we were able to do that with COVID. There were many school districts who had to hire 100 teachers because they did an online program, so to speak, where they were doing hybrid education. Because we were open every day, we were able to just kind of maintain our program with the number of teachers we currently had, which was no, correct, principals, easy feat. We have been, any body that's breathing and has a pulse in the building is helping us to make sure we have enough teachers. We are short on subs, on being taped. Anybody who wants to substitute, please come. We are desperate for substitutes. Aides, sub-aides, all of those things. Actual Brian Frank, Mr. de Blasio, Eileen, Phil have actually stood in for teachers, as have our principals, so that we can run the building. So we didn't hire 10 extra teachers because we knew we could not put that burden on the community. Now, that said, you're right. The majority of the increase is always gonna be contractual, it's gonna be salaries. Roughly, Eileen, 163. That's my educated guess. Plus or minus. And there's no additional staff this year.
And I'm sure you're aware, just to jump in, you look at the big picture, and it's common knowledge what people really, society ignores it until they're outside the little box. Of course, school systems and school funding makes up the majority of the taxes. But guess what? I look at it as, I'm in real estate, and it is what they call an ROI, which is return on investment. We have a good school system, it's gonna be attractive to people to move into the neighborhood. And by that, you're gonna have great students, and you're gonna have a successful track record, and you're gonna look back and say, damn, we have a good school system to be proud of. So, as much as it's painful to realize that the teachers do make up a lot of it, otherwise, I don't ever disagree on this or that, I do it that way. It is a critical aspect of what occurs, because the education system needs to be successful. And in order for it to be successful, there's a lot of work that goes into it. And again, from my background, I know that it's an investment. What you put in, you get out. We have tremendous track record of successful stories going out into the world. Our principals could attest to it. We have hundreds of students that go out there and they make a fantastic career for themselves. And guess what the foundation is? So I feel strongly that there's a lot of work put into it. Of course, their teacher salaries are 70%, these would be a total number. So there is an exercise in it. But to Dr. Finn's point, we do not waste any people or money at all. We stay in line, not flatline. We stay lean and mean as much as we can. So that's just.
Any other comments from the public on agenda items only? There being none, our next item on the agenda is the budget adoption presentation from Dr. Finn.
Just the wrong thing. Got it. All right, Joe, you're gonna disappear. See
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. So this will be a very brief presentation because Eloise, as you mentioned, we talked a lot about the meat and potatoes of the budget going through. So tonight is the night when we ask the community to adopt our board actually, to adopt our budget. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do both. And you know what? It's going to be taped here. So you'll be able to hear it on Zoom because it is being taped on Zoom. Okay. So these are my 3 pictures. I picked them for a reason. The budget, we see it in the community, in our schools, on our fields, on our stages. So Cherry Lane, their Valentine's for Veterans, Rushmore, their gratitude campaign, middle school, high school, your high school musical, that's Leah right there. It's a picture of her getting her soccer ball for her 100th goal. And if she does have 5 games, she's on her way to making a record, I believe. Correct, Mr. DiPaolo? So all of the things that are in this budget go toward things that help students, always. But it also impacts the individual buildings, it impacts the community, and it impacts every single person that works in this district as well. So we do make our decisions with an eye for what works for our staff, but mainly we make a decision for what works for our kids. And we do that by looking at the strategic plan, which I'm not going to go through. You've seen it a million times, and it's what kind of drives what we do. We look to make sure that our program is the very best program that it can be, and this budget sustains all of our programs. It is helping us to have advanced placement classes. It is helping us to adjust and help our students with their social emotional learning and mental health. It is going to help with the positive culture and identity of our district because it's going to do things that will help kids to be happy going to school. And that is difficult to do when you have masks and barriers and you can't talk to each other and work with each other the way you used to. So we have to prepare for whether COVID goes away or whether it's still here. We do that by preparing our teachers, who are troopers. And many of them give hours and hours of their time to learn how to teach remotely. And thanks to the generosity of our Board of Education and our community, we now have one-to-one devices. When COVID goes away, the one-to-ones aren't going to go away, and we want to make sure that they're used properly. And I think that I can safely say our teachers have become experts at that, which is great. We have a process and planning, and our business office is a key element of that, as is our Board of Education, who has a lot of financial acumen. They know what they're doing, and they definitely will ask us questions, and we are happy to give them the answers so that you can feel confident that you have the best budget going forward. So what does that look like? Oops. So the 2021 budget, the approved budget, was $51,086,433. Our proposed 2021 budget is $51,594,676. That's a budget-to-budget increase of just under 1%, only $508,243. And I say only with an asterisk, because I know that's still a lot of money. But in terms of budgets, budget to budget, it really is not. It is a very lean number, as Mr. McLaughlin said. That means our estimated tax levy, when we look at last year's, was $43,948,766. And our proposed tax levy for this year is $44,578,542, which is an increase of $629,776, which we will be asking for from the community. As I stated before, we don't need to appropriate $375,000 from reserves. We'll only be appropriating $50,000. That's a savings that is passed on to you as well. So our estimated 21-22 tax levy increase is 1.43%, which is one of the lower percentages in Nassau and Suffolk County. The maximum allowable simple tax levy is that $44,578,542. We are going to go at the cap. We're not going over it. We're not piercing it at 1.43%.
Important dates. We have an annual budget hearing and meet the candidates at May 6, 2021. As Mr. Trustee DeFrisco pointed out, we will also have an April board meeting on the 24th, is it, or the 20th? The 20th. And then, of course, the budget vote is May 18th, 2021, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. in the girls' gym. Not the multipurpose room, the girls' gymnasium. That's for social distancing, so we can spread everybody out. Also, we will be meeting with the PTAs, the Civic Association, seniors, our government classes, and anybody else who wants to meet with us. We will be happy to do this budget presentation, and we will even tape it so that people can see it far and wide, because we really are very proud of this budget and want to get the word out. That's all I've got. Do you have any questions? I'm happy to answer them. Oh, you want me to do the propositions? Yeah, okay. All right. So this is just a highlight of the proposition that's on the board agenda. So of course we're going to approve the adoption of the budget in the amount of $51,594,676 for the 2021-22 school year. We're also going to approve a proposition on the ballot for voters regarding the Capital Reserve Fund. That's a reserve fund that was established in 2017, May. And what we're going to do is 6 classrooms at Cherry Lane, generator and alarm control, fuel system district-wide, install a new sewer main at the Carl Place Middle School, High School, and any ancillary or related work. Rushmore Avenue, you're getting a break next year. We're going to take care of you the following year, okay, if we can. And the estimated amount of that is $1,875,000. And further resolved, we have a Board of Education proposition for our board members to elect 2 board members of the Board of Education for a 3-year term, commencing July 1st, 2021, and expiring on June 30th, 2024. That's it.
I'd just like to make a comment.
Sure.
Dr. Finn read the resolution regarding the 21-22 budget propositions. As most of you, I hope everyone recalls, Barry Dennis was a long-time serving school board member, and he was last on the board as president when he unexpectedly passed away. And Barry's words at this time of the year and at this meeting, and I'll read them so I don't get them, I don't say them poorly. He always asked the superintendent, directors, you, Dr. Finn, he would have liked you very much. Barry would have asked the question, does this budget have everything that will allow our students to succeed?
I hope Barry is listening, because I honestly can say yes. I do think they will succeed. I think it will continue the great work that we've done this year, and hopefully we'll get even better next year. But everything's in there.
Thank you, Dr. Finn. And at that, Barry would smirk and shake his head.
Barry loved me.
That comes from our reserves. That $1,875,000 that comes from our reserves. That's one of the uses of those reserves.
Or something I saw online said that there's a meeting in June at which you discuss what to do with reserves. Did I get that wrong, or is there indeed such a meeting?
We always have a plan for what we're going to do with our reserves, and we can talk about that. If you call me, I'll tell you when that meeting is, but we update that reserve plan every year. And there is an accurate and up-to-date reserve plan on the website, and I will show you how to find it.
Thank you. Is there no other questions? Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. May I have a motion to approve the Board of Education budget business meeting minutes for March 11th, 2021? Motion. Second is any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Commissioner Nancy 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the Board of Education special meeting minutes for March 18th, 2021? I'll make the
Second Aguilar.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions, passed unanimously 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the Board of Education budget business meeting minutes for March 25th, 2021?
Make a motion.
Second Aguilar.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions, passed unanimously 5-0. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the second reading of policy number 5670, records management. Is there any discussion from the board on the second reading of this policy? Okay. Next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. May I have a motion for our consent agenda?
Second, Walker.
Any discussion? You want to make any comments about the record management? Yes, that's one. Yes, tonight.
Just, what I was going to talk about, just ask a question about the future and what we want to be looking into. I think, it's one of my favorite deputies, and I agree with Dr. Frank on board. It's important, this is more of a commentary, John.
Okay, no problem.
It's a commentary on the improvements that we can make and continue to make to digitize everything. Schools are always challenged with engineers and it's just on my ballot. It's in my ballot where I've created programs and I want to see us continue to move forward. So it's not so much an objection to the right. It's just clarification, description.
No worries, it's all good. That's it actually, it will reason well.
It's a wish, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay, it's no other discussion items. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstentions, passed unanimously 5-0. Next. would be-
John?
Yes.
Are we going to vote on the adoption of the budget individually?
Oh, we just, actually, as part of our consent agenda.
Do you
Which number is it? I missed it.
Number 4. You want to separate it out, you want to go back, or?
Well, I would just like to make some additional comments.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there it is. I would just like to make some additional comments about this year's budget.
Okay, yeah, you can do
I
that.
don't know how many people. Hello?
Yep,
No, Joe, you can
you're
make
here,
them.
you can make the comments.
Make your comments,
We have Eloise and Mrs. Birch and Tom and Eric and Patty and Lucy was here and Kathy.
Okay, all right. We don't have to take
There she
attendance.
is.
That's okay. That's okay.
I can't show you everybody.
That's all right. I just want to say a few things related to the budget itself. This year, we're going out with a tax levy increase of 1.43%, which is at cap. We have, in my time on board and since the evolution of the cap, done many budgets that were below cap, or we even did one at 0. So we have a history here of being very conservative in the way that we spend our dollars. Our goal, as was stated by John and Dr. Finn and Larry, is obviously the best education for the students, which includes everything from the traditional reading, writing, and arithmetic to AP and super courses, to a robust sports program, a robust arts program, and making sure that when they leave here, they're ready for college. I think over the last couple of years, we've always done a great job on that. And I think given the conditions of 2020, 2021, it might have been our finest hour. So I would like to thank everybody who delivered for the students this year. And I hope everybody supports the budget and comes out and votes their preference, yes or no, but at least come out and vote. I think it's a good budget. Again, we were conservative, but we're always thinking as a board and as an administration what to do for the students first, to give them a better education than they had the prior year. So again, thank you very much to the staff, thank you very much to the community who always supports us. And like I said, hopefully everybody comes out and votes, because I think we've got one of the best schools in Nassau County.
Thank you, Trustee Locurdo. Very well said, and very well said by all board colleagues before. Thank you very much, Trustee Locurdo. Visitors' comments on any items in particular? There being none, may I have a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss negotiations.
Make the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay, Joe, I'm gonna-
See you later.
Shut this out.
See you soon. Neil is and Joe. Joe Neal. They're all supposed to be out here.
Yes. You're a star. Star pupil, there you go.
Yes, you found it.
No, you serious about that?
No, we put it up again. Okay, so, here.
Everything okay?
No, you've been asked about that over the years, I remember.
So here it is, here you go. So, you go to departments, go to business.
You have to leave. Keep the black button.
So, but that's where you'll find it. Then here is where all the stuff is. Departments, and then